Yeah, as I was say, I mean, if there are more people coming, I just want to say, like, I'm not going to really comment about Terrell right now, out of respect for him and his family, but uh, just, our prayers are with him and his family, and, he means the world to me, and, I challenge anybody to find a better man, better dad, better coach, better friend, better mentor than anybody. So, out of respect to him, I'm not going to really comment on him, but I'm always thinking about him and what he means to this team.
And I guess, what does this mean for you now? Just take it this week when he's not here.
I mean, nothing really different. I'm still just the inside linebackers coach. I'm getting the backers ready for Miami. All the guys are any thing we got to step up, we can step up, but everything's pretty status quo right now.
Yeah. So I know in the spring when he wasn't here, you were doing a little bit more on practice, I think, and then going back to talk to him on Zoom. I didn't know if the practices now, your role would be sort of similar to what it was in the spring when he wasn't around. That question. Yes.
I mean, kind of. Like I said, it's about the same as it's been all training camp and all the first few weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike said he was going to talk to you and kind of figure out who's going to call plays on Sunday potentially if Terrell's not available. Have you had those conversations yet? And if so, how has that gone?
Well, yeah, any conversation with me and Raves, I'm going to keep between me and Raves, but he's going to, if I've been told, he's going to let you guys know Friday.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it.
I guess, how comfortable do you feel at this point in your career, in this defense? And obviously you spent a lot of time with Mike in Tennessee and you're in New York last year. How much growth have you felt for yourself as a coach?
Yeah, a lot. And, like 3 people that come to mind, just like what I mentioned about Terrell earlier, is T, Raves, and Shane Bowen. Those 3 guys, huge influence on me and my growth, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I can't thank them enough. I don't take any morning I wake up and get to work with T and Braves for granted. And I feel like I've had pretty good development under those 3. I think they've helped me a lot in understanding the game, especially at this level and on this side of the ball.
What's it like being an inside linebackers coach for Mike Rabel, knowing that he played the linebacker position? That's kind of his area.
That's a great question. He's on it at all times. You got to be on your toes and you got to be ready. You got to be able to explain it at all times because, he can see a play for a fraction of a second and know exactly what happened. It's pretty wild how much he can see at once. So, you got to be on your stuff with him because that's, I would say, he loves all the positions. He coaches all 3 phases, but you're right. He's played the position, so it means a little something to him.
Just with Miami, how challenging is their run, play, action, pass game for linebackers in particular? It feels like there's a lot of window dressing and eye candy there. And how does that, what are the coaching points to deal with that kind of stuff?
They do a good job of designing plays off of each other. He does a good job. That whole tree, that whole branch of, like you said, some window dressing, trying to buy some bad eyes by defenders and trying to make you sound while using all the athleticism they have to kind of get you out of place and run by you.
When they, your zone dropping, right, and they have those speed at the receiver crossing, over the field. Just how do you kind of coach the linebackers there to be able to keep up with, Hill and Waddle kind of come into their zones?
Yeah, they're a challenge. This is one of the fastest teams in the league, but like we say across the team, it all depends on the details, the technique, and the fundamentals with each call and how that affects you and your coverage in that situation.
Sorry to come in late, or Mike died, but just starting over, if you don't mind. Just how has the team responded to just the situation with Coach Williams this week? And
yeah, well, I know you guys just got in here, but I'm not really going to comment on T. I respect him and his family, but like I said, we're going as is. Everybody's status quo. We're rolling. I wouldn't say anything's much different at all.
have you figured out logistics just in terms of play calling and how that's going to be handled?
Like I said earlier, I'm sorry. Vrapes is going to let you guys know tomorrow about all that.
Okay.
I saw you out there at practice today. It looked like you were running some sort of a play option kind of drill, like you were the quarterback. You were out there moving around pretty good.
No, I was not moving around good. No, I wouldn't say that. No, I disagree with that. Every step hurts.
Considering all the coaches you mentioned that have helped you, if there comes a time that you do need to step up, how prepared do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, that's everybody on staff. I think everybody comes into work every day that if anybody ever needs extra help, we're all ready to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's me specifically being ready for that. I think everybody on the staff, Rapes does a good job of hiring good people. And the one thing I love about him, just as a head coach or even as a person, is really his mindset is every day like, okay, how can I help? How can I make somebody better? How can I help this situation? How can I help you? It's all about working together and helping wherever we need to help and reach a common goal.
The way you did step in over the spring and summer, I mean, just how did that kind of help prepare you for whatever is called upon for you and moving forward?
Yeah, and again, like I don't know what's going to be called upon or anything like that, but when you got guys on our unit, guys like Spillane, guys like Marcus Jones, Harold Landry, like those three captains, like coming to work's pretty easy, and everything's a collaborative, operation with the players and the coaches, and being aligned, and I don't think anything can ever really change that.
How does Miami speed make them unique, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the fastest teams in the league, and you got to respect speed and also try to play a physical game. It definitely can put binds on you in certain situations. But like I said earlier, as long as we really master our details, techniques, and fundamentals, and we should be in a good spot.
You were an offensive coordinator in college. Not saying you're going to be a coordinator here this week or anything like that, but how does that help you? How did that help you in the spring, that experience, and how could that help you now?
Yeah, I mean, different levels, different sides of the ball, but you're in front of a whole group of guys delivering a message, so that wasn't new to me. But I don't know if it's prepared me better or worse in one way or the other. Good? All right, yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
This Miami offense obviously stumped a little bit in week one, but just kind of knowing how unique some of the stuff they do is, how much do you go and look at, this early in the year in general, how much do you go look at last year when you study an offense versus maybe just week one?
Yeah, big time right now because you got to go back you really can't study off of 1 week, so we'll pull all last season. That type of offense and the 49ers offense, it's pretty, they do what they do. They want to run the ball and get stuff off their play action. But yeah, you want to go back. There is some unknown. They have some new players up front, but yeah, anytime early in the year, you gotta get back to the previous season and get some stuff in there.
Coach, with Terrell Williams possibly being out this week, obviously stuff might get delegated, down the line. Vince Obama is on staff. What does he mean to you guys, and sort of what does he do outside of, I guess, his normal duties?
Vinny, yeah, man, he's one of us. He does all the quality control. He helps with the linebackers. He does a lot. He's a really good ball coach, being that young. But right now with Terrell is we're all in this together and working together and putting our minds together and rolling like that.
We saw Vinny next to Coach Williams in the booth the other day. What does that entail? Is that just kind of taking notes, or I guess for anybody that would be there?
Yeah, I mean there's formation stuff that we're working on. He's looking at tells, personnel groups, offensive personnel groups, stuff like that. Little things that he might catch that we can't see down on the field. Good question.
After getting a chance to watch the tape, what did you see from Harold Landry in week one?
Yeah, things I saw at training camp. He's got explosive get off. He was mixing in his power, making these guys set him normal, and just how aggressive he plays. He's a smart guy. He knows how to rush. He knows how to set them up. He's a student of the game, man. He studies. We talk about it all week, what the game plan is. But he executed what Harold does, and I just loved how he mixed up some things and just keep those tackles honest.
You said a student of the game. How do you see that show up in the meeting room with him?
Days like today, we go over pass rush and we go over the tackles and the offensive line, and we all get together and I ask him, hey, how do you see who we're playing this week, and he reads off his report and it is detailed. He's a smart kid. You can tell he puts the time in. So as a coach, you can tell for the guys that don't put the time in, and watching. That's how we build our plan. All right, let's get on the board. Let's all get on the same page. There's a lot to it. There's protections, there's chips, there's thumps. There's going to be a lot of different things that go with that. But is having that plan. But he's always organized. He hit me last night like at 10 o'clock about something. About this move, about that move, and so that's why guys like him have some success.
For him to be named a captain, that kind of approach, is that something that goes behind him? Is that something you've noticed he's maybe instructing other players, suggesting other players to do? Hey, 24/7, keep this kind of stuff in mind?
Think about Harold. He might not be the most vocal guy, but it's the way that he works and the way that he prepares. Right? He's always full go in practice. He's always doing the right thing, all that type of stuff. He might not be the vocal leader, but that's okay. He's going to do it by the way he plays.
You've talked, and other coaches have talked a lot about playing with violence on defense. Is that something Tyree does in practice all the time? I know you guys are trying to take care of each other out there. You don't want players getting hurt, but is he somebody you would say sets the tone in that regard?
He does. When it is time to go and roll, and Braves is like, hey, this period I want us to go and hit and run. He brings it. There's never a time you tell Harold, hey, slow down. It's just not. Even in the pre-practice stuff I'm watching him, and he's doing full sprints with that little thing around his back, wherever he's pulling and doing all that stuff. I mean, he's always going, and it makes it easier as a coach when you have a guy like that in the room. That you don't have. You have these guys that one of your leaders that's not always going. And so you just lead by example with him.
Cool.
Great job, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Those guys to remember. So, I told him before the game kicks off, just look up there and appreciate the moment. He's one of, a very small percentage that's able to go out there and play as a rookie, start, all that type of stuff, so appreciate the moment. He definitely played with some good poise, liked what I saw out there. Obviously, there's some things he can improve, but was happy with his opening game and look forward to improvement. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a better game in Miami, better game the next game, and so on and so forth.
Actually, one more. We hear so much the week leading up. We don't know what the other team's going to do. How much do you as a coach know what your team's going to do? And is it, a little bit of an unknown factor for you as a coach with, not just your group, but, generally speaking?
Yeah. So, I think we try to do everything we can to prepare the guys and to feel like they are ready for the moment. But you never know until it's out there, right? Until the ball's kicked, until they're out there in front of 70,000 fans, how they're going to react. We try and put them in situations, especially my position, the safeties, the DBs. We try and put them in adverse situations in the practice field so they can feel that. But again, you never know how a guy's going to react. This is a new group for us, obviously. I'm new to them. They're new to me. And so I was pleased with how they came to the sideline. We talked. We got information. They were able to take information. They were able to take adjustments, all that type of stuff. So definitely pleased with the way we handled some of the things that happened and continue to look forward to improving.
I think, news-wise, with Terrell, and you guys are close from the time together. So I think one thing we're all curious about is how are you all sort of rallying together, and what are your thoughts on how you move forward and Terrell?
Appreciate that. I've known Terrell for over 20 years, so very close friend of mine, not just football-wise, but we're just talking about family. And so, again, with all that being said, just as a group, we are all a collective defense. That's one thing that Terrell implemented day one in February, that this is a collective thing. So that's how we're going forward. We're collectively doing the game plan. We're collectively going through our areas of expertise, and we're going to just continue to go on forward and have the game plan that we feel like is the best to beat the Miami Dolphins.
This might sound silly. I think Jalen Hawkins, actually, one of your guys today in the locker room, said they want to do it for Terrell.
Yeah.
I don't know, but as fellow coaches, do you share sort of a similar mindset? Like you'd like to come together and make him, I don't want to say make him proud, but that's his baby in a way.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's always that human element of wanting to do well for someone that you've had a long time relationship. I'm speaking for myself. But at the same time, just me personally, the win one for the Gipper and all that type of stuff, that really goes away on that first kickoff or the first time you get hit or the first time some adversity hits. So, it's not so much win one for Terrell, win one for the Gipper, but
we want to get this win. We want to make sure that we go out there and we play great team defense. We swarm, we play violent, we take the ball away, and that's what we want to do.
How important is it, or have you discovered last week you surrendered 9 plays of 20-plus yards?
Yeah.
Do you think you've kind of ferreted out why that happened and not to have it happen again?
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to do that. You're not going to win a lot of games giving up 9 X plays in a game. And so, the thing when you look back at those situations, they came on some different coverages, one time in man, one time maybe in zone, all that type of stuff. So it wasn't like there was one specific thing. It was more of a culmination of us just maybe one guy not doing his job or maybe one guy out of place. And so what we try to do this week is tighten it up, make sure that as coaching staff, all right, we were clear on, hey, this is what we want to do. And feel like the guys responded well. We watched the tape on Monday. The guys were good about not only taking the coaching, but also talking about, hey, this is what I saw, because again, they're out there playing. So now with that information, with what they saw, we're in there making a game plan so that they can use what they see and make sure that we're just covering our bases and covering our guys and doing the things, the areas that we need to do. So feel like after Monday's film session and stuff like that, we were able to do some good things there. And, preparation-wise, all that type of stuff, feel like we're on track to do better in that area.
I'm guessing you also watched the Dolphins and Indy game.
Yep, that's one of the games we watch, yeah.
Yeah, and Indy had some luck containing Tua or taking away his reads or doing certain things. I don't want to say they provided a blueprint, but are you conscious of some of the things that worked really well against Miami in that game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you always look at not only the opponent's last game, but you look at a history of their games and to see what works against them and what doesn't, and you used the word luck, all good. I think taking the ball away is not lucky. You know what I mean? That's something that you do and you practice and all that type of stuff. So they were able to, I believe, take the ball away 3 times and limited their possessions and all that type of stuff, play complementary football. So that's definitely a blueprint that we'd like. Take the ball away, be able to get our offense the ball in great field position, and, be great on third down, limit their possession. So if that blueprint is what you're talking about, then yeah, sign me up. But I think, more importantly, it's just, watching what happened to them, but also focusing on us, right? And making sure that, our group, what we're doing, we're getting sound technique fundamentals and that we're sound.
When you guys blitz as much as you did in week 1, I think it was like 40% and that aggressive, how does that affect you and your guys' rules on the back end?
Yeah.
Plays?
Yeah. So, it's one of those things that whenever you do blitz, we obviously are in a situation as DBs where sometimes we're one-on-one, right? And so we know that, we understand that, and so we have to adjust accordingly, right? And so we want to make sure that we're putting the pressure on the offense, and that's who we are. And so in that situation, if we're in one-on-one situations, we're going to want to win our one-on-one battles more than we lose. And obviously, if we lose our one-on-one battle, we want to get out there and win the next one. I mean, we're not going to shrink from the moment, right? So if that answers your question.
Offense, how do you disrupt the timing of it? And just from your safety perspective, Colts guy's talking about taking away his first read, trying to make him read through the coverage a little bit. But what are the keys to slowing this guy down?
Yeah, I mean, accurate quarterback does a great job of distributing the ball within their system. And so, our situation is that we want to make sure that we do a good job of getting bodies on people, right? And sometimes that's man coverage, sometimes that's zone coverage, but we don't want to allow them to have space, right? When you have space, that gives windows for the throws and that gives opportunities for run after catch. So we want to eliminate the space, and so that's what we're trying to do.
I got time for one more. Sneak one in? Real quick. What do you think? It's 4:05.
Go ahead. Yep.
As a proud Kent State.
Oh yeah. Let's go.
Golden Flashes coach piece.
Yeah.
How tight? Like how often are you communicating with him, and how much is that why you're here?
Yeah.
Not here.
No.
Coaching.
So in 1999, he came to my house and offered me a scholarship at Kent State. and I played for him 4 straight years. And then in 2002, he offered me my first graduate assistant job at Kent State, my alma mater. And then in 2018, he was a defensive coordinator with Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel didn't know me. Dean Pease did. I was in Nebraska at the time, and I became the assistant DB coach. So I owe a lot to Coach Pease. All that football stuff is awesome, but he's really helped be a mentor to me. Man who's been married to his wife, for over 30 years, loves his wife, loves his kids, and just a really good role model for me. So I owe a lot to that man.
Plays a good piano too.
He does. He does.
Did you know that?
I do. I've heard his albums. So, thanks.
Awesome.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.